everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for dropping by today. As you can see, this video follows directly on from my last vlog, walking on the beach from St Annes to Blackpool. And in the last video we just finished walking past all the Christmas trees, and now we're going to see what comes after that. Still a long way to go. Still where the dunes are, so we're not even close to the pleasure beach or Starr Gate yet, folks. So yeah, long way, but we can do it. You can see how quiet the beach is. There are a few people out just walking their dogs and just chilling by themselves, but really hardly anybody. A beach walk is always a good thing to do if you want to have a nice walk and you want to have that nice walk on your own and have plenty of space, because especially on the beach like this, when the tide goes out miles, there's enough space for everybody to have all the room they want. See, I'm still walking past dunes. When I was a little kid, the sand dunes, or the sand hills as we called them, really scared me. I just remember one day I'd come out of school, I was only little in the infant, so I'd have been about what, 5 or 6, and anyway my dad used to have a taxi when I was very little, and I came out of school with my sister and my dad was waiting to pick us up in his taxi, which he did sometimes, and my mum was in the taxi with him, which was really unusual, because my mum, she didn't like leaving the house a lot, and she was in the taxi, and there was like a ginormous big thermos that was full of cold, you know, the generic cold wheat, orange squash that all parents took on picnics with the kids back then, and the bag of butties. And my mum was like, oh, we're going to the sandhills, it's a lovely day. So my dad drove us to the sandhills, which were obviously just there, but when I was little I didn't even realise that. And so we're on the sandhills. It's a nice day, but it's a bit cold and windy, something like today. Drinking watery orange squash and eating butties, and my mum's like, oh, go around, go and have a play, go and have a play. So I ran off to play, and I didn't run that far because I was only little, but I suddenly realised that I was lost, and I wanted to go and find where my mum and dad were sat, and I went down one dune and walked up another one, and I just must have walked up the wrong dune, but all I could see was sand and grass and hills all around me, the tall grass and the big sandy hills, and just mountainous hills, because they're big, the sand dunes. I mean, they are really big. If you ever tried hiking up bigger ones, you know, they're not mountainous or anything, but they're a good workout to go up them. But when you're tiny and you're barely out your toddlerhood, they seem twice as big. And I remember I just had a complete meltdown. I was so terrified. I just started crying my eyes out and shouting and screaming, and I don't really remember what happened after that. I mean, either somebody heard me, my mum and dad probably heard me, I was probably very close by, but I don't really remember what happened. I mean, obviously I did find my way back to them somehow, and we all went back home and everything was fine, but I just remembered being lost and scared for those few minutes. And all the way through my childhood I never wanted to go to the sandhills ever again. If anybody suggested going for a picnic to the sandhills, I was like, nope. Because when I got into my teens, one of my friends asked me if I wanted to go on the sandhills for the picnic, because we were going to go to the St Annes open air baths, and we found out it was going to be closed for the day. And Becca was like, oh, we'll go and have a picnic on the sandhills, we'll all bring something to eat, it'll be fine. And I was just like, no sandhills. But I ended up going with them, and I ended up having a good time. So I wouldn't really say my childhood experience scarred me or anything. It was just one of those little moments that was scary while it happened, but everything was fine afterwards. It's a big log. Whenever I see logs like that, I always wonder where they've come from. And yes, obviously, of course, I know they've come from the sea and been washed up, but I mean, where were they originally? What were they a part of? And where? There's actually a few old Christmas trees there still, so there's still more all the way down here. There's not much of them left, but yeah, there are some Christmas tree remains. I feel like I'm walking and walking and walking, and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I still feel like I'm miles away from the pleasure beach even. Yeah, more Christmas trees there. Some new, some old, another huge log there. You see the dunes there. I mean, they're really tall, the tallest ones, they are super tall. I have got a video of me climbing a really tall sand dune on my channel. Just like breathing all heavy and out of breath as I try to pretend I'm fitter than I am, as I just hike my way up to the top. You can see the piles of seaweed here, so yeah, this is where the sea comes into. I don't think we ever get super high tides here. I wonder how high the tide came in here during Storm Kira. It was like January, February 2020. If you're local and you saw the tide around here during Storm Kira, let me know, if you would please, how high the tide came. Because the tide from Storm Kira in Blackpool was the highest tide I've ever seen, and please note that I'm not saying it was the highest tide there ever was. It's just the highest tide I personally ever remember seeing. You know, there could have been way higher ones that I don't remember or didn't see, but Storm Kira, yeah, that was the highest one. I've got so much video footage from Storm Kira. And Riffle Park also got flooded during Storm Kira. I mean, it recovered just fine, but yeah, Riffle Park was underwater, and I actually got that on video as well. And also, very sadly, parts of Queen Victoria were flooded because they had fire engines there and they were pumping out the street and people's houses, but I didn't film that because that would have felt like a really douchebag move, you know, just filming somebody's misery and property damage. I mean, I won't views for my channel, but I don't want to do stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't film any of the actual flooding of properties. I just filmed the field area of Riffle Park and the park itself, and that drained off just fine. Yeah, loads more Christmas trees down here. These are all pretty much though just reduced to nothing now. I think the sea's coming in, you know. Well, I'm really not sure. I feel like I say that every single time I make a beach video. I look over at the sea and I say, oh, I think the sea's coming in. I'm really not sure. It sounds like it's coming in. I don't know. Although all that water there that I walked past before, that would suggest it's just going out. I have no idea. And just like that, I am going to end this video. So thank you for watching. If you're still sticking with me down these beach walk videos, I am having fun making this one. Please hit the like button, and please subscribe. Maybe even drop me a comment as well. And I'll see you all very soon in the next vlog. Goodbye.